saddle.
Woohoo! We are back in the
Yay!
saddle. It's Lisa Jones and
Goldyn Duffy.
we are the Real Ones, and we are here to share what is really going on in this life and what we can create, because it's all within our power of doing
Absolutely.
so. Right?
Absolutely. And we have more power than ever right now. And if you know this information and you live by this information, you will see incredible miracles happening. And I'm seeing it for a lot of people around me, which is really exciting.
That is so cool. Oh my God. So I'm just gonna do the little behind the scenes thing, but
yeah, I gotta tell you my story about my daughter.
I know. Well, do you want to wait 1 second?
Yeah, I'll wait until we hop on Facebook so I can share.
Give us a nugget of wisdom, for these wonderful special people, our podcasters and our YouTubers that come and join us. So give us a little nugget as I'm like going through this back alley here.
So when it comes to creating something that you really want, it's about not just believing in it. It's not believing that not just believing in something going to happen for you. It's having faith, but acting as if. So if you're just sitting there and you're waiting for something to happen, that energy is not enough to create. It will create, it will just take longer. So the true power of faith and belief is acting as if. It's putting yourself out there. It's doing things like, what can I do right now that will facilitate that dream, that will actually activate the energy of the universe and say, yes, I'm in partnership with you and I'm doing my part and I'm ready for those miracles to happen and I'm ready for those things to happen.
I love it. That is so perfect. And we are going live right now on Facebook. And I think that's a beautiful nugget of wisdom that our Facebookers should go and check out through our YouTube or our podcast to hear that little nugget of information that
we kicked it off already, guys. Get over there.
Exactly. So let me go there.
Facebook, we're so excited to be back on our usual Monday. We're not exactly at the time that we usually are, but that's okay. We're navigating life and different things that have been happening for us, and we are committed and we are back, and it feels really good.
It does. But I have to say too, it's August, right? This is kind of the time of in the olden days, I'll call it the olden days. August was the time of like vacations and things always, like work never really happened in August because people were coming and going. And that's exactly what happened. I flew to Florida from Hawaii to go to my daughter's wedding. And then when I got home, then you had your family, your daughter.
We have a bunch of birthdays. I had my granddaughter turned 3 and my daughter turned 28 and my birthday's this weekend. So August for me is like a giant celebration. And I had a friend's birthday yesterday. We celebrated all day. So I love August. Yeah.
That is so cool. So anyway, but here we are and it's just amazing. It truly is the most miraculous time to be alive right here, right now, because of all of the energy that's available for us to create.
And the clearing,
and that's what we're all about.
Huge, massive clearing going on right now where we can step into our power or we can step into fear. Like that's our choice right now. So it's like, what can I do right now that's going to bring me joy, that's going to put me in abundance, that's going to make me feel really intensely good? There are things you can do. If you're in a state of not doing those things, if you're, laying around, if you're not working, if you're drinking, if you're eating bad, all those things, you can change that stuff like that by making the decision that you want to live life from joy and start asking yourself, what would feel better? What would feel better? What could I do right now? And those are the things that are going to tune you into that frequency of abundance and miracles and wonderful things happening for you.
Absolutely. And what I love too, we kicked off this show both on YouTube and the podcast with a little nugget of information. I'm just going to refer a little bit to it because without giving it all away. But it is so true that if you're in that state of wanting, like if you're laying around and wanting things to be different, if, I don't have a good job right now, I don't like what I'm doing, or I don't like when I'm, the way my body is, and I want it to be different. When you're in that state of wanting, then the universe is just going to keep providing that to you and keeping it from you. And I've learned that lesson multiple times. I think now I'm finally getting the hang of that idea that instead of being in that state, that vibration of want,
it's lack,
right? And so then it just gets reflected to you over and over and over again. So the best way out of that is to act as if it's already happened and that it's just right there for you. And it might feel a little awkward, a little weird, but hey, like if you want to shift things, you got to change the way you
Well, and that's
act.
that's why they say fake it until you make it, because it's really acting as if it's like, how would I act right now if everything was the way I really and truly wanted it? How would I dress? Where would I go? What would I say? You know, would I be depressed? Would I be in this like state of okay? You know, there's so many times I ask people, how are you? And they're like, I'm okay. And it's like, okay, like really? Don't you want better than okay? You know, people ask me how I am. I'm like, I'm fantastic, even when I'm not.
Right.
Even when I'm not.
Right.
So, you know, and it's not to say that I'm happy all the time, because I wore a shirt the other day that said sunshine all the time. And my husband looked at my shirt and he goes, most of the time. Because he knows me so well,
Sometimes
right?
partly cloudy, sometimes
Yes,
partly
exactly.
cloudy.
So no, it's not always going to be perfect, but if you recognize that you have that choice to choose those thoughts, to choose meditation, to choose, you know, to go for a walk in nature, to ground yourself, to feel better, to listen to good music, to read good books, and to feed your soul with those things that are going to wake it up, then you're going to see life coming in miraculous ways.
Yeah, that is so true. And I think one of the things I see too on Facebook, like I'll be reading through and people are like, oh, I just wish I had a great relationship, or if I could only meet somebody who, you know, whatever the things that they're asking for and they haven't been met in that way. And I'm like, don't you see, you're just calling out. I mean, not only in your mind, but you're physically typing things and you're creating,
activating a frequency.
you're activating that frequency of not having it and of keeping yourself from it by continually, you know, putting out there that you don't have what you are desiring.
Yeah.
So I want to challenge you, when you go onto Facebook, that you post only things that bring you joy, that you don't comment on things unless they bring you joy, and that you don't activate yourself unless it's invoking joy within yourself.
Oh,
That's
this
my
is great.
challenge.
I seriously, I have hit the angry button more times than ever on Facebook recently. Just that little angry face.
Oh my God. I don't think I've ever hit the angry button.
Oh my God. So many times now, just when people put things like the sex trafficking and all these things that are going, I have too many things on my feed that I think I need to get rid of. I think from now on, whenever I have an angry thought, like about something, I'm just going to go unfollow.
Yeah.
There's people that just post constantly about the negativity that's going on. And
right. Well, and that's it. And when you're in that, I literally, my feed is so clean. I don't know how it's happened, because I really haven't unfriended people. I think maybe my algorithm, because I only hit love.
No, it's what you're tuning into.
I guess that's it, because I rarely get anything on my feed that isn't just absolutely like, I call it my oracle. Like whenever I'm like pondering a question or something, I'll just be scrolling randomly through Facebook, and all of a sudden exactly what I need shows up. Oh my God. In fact, yesterday I was thinking, I know the college used to offer Hawaiian lessons, you know, and I would love to take Hawaiian speaking lessons.
Language,
the Hawaiian language. So
yeah.
I was literally thinking that yesterday morning, walking from the beach back to my car after doing my yoga and my swim. I come home, and this morning I just, you know, I had my tea and did my meditation, and then I went on Facebook, and the very first post was, I'm offering Hawaiian language lessons. You know, email me.
The law of attraction at its finest.
Email me, and it starts tomorrow night. I am so excited.
That
I can't wait to tell you.
That is amazing.
Isn't that amazing? So yeah. So guys, seriously, stop looking at Facebook as like your demon hatred. And like start putting love into it. I'm telling you, it is. I love my Facebook feed.
I am going to do that. Thank you. I actually was thinking this morning that I needed to change things up there, but that just really brought it home for me. So I'm going to totally do that.
Good.
Yeah. So my daughter has been living in this house for $100 a month for the past couple of months, and now she needs to find a place to live. So, you know, she calls me the other day and she's really down, and she's, you know, just feeling like she can't do it, and rent is just too much here, and, you know, she's just really heavy about it. And I'm, you know, I'm pulling out all the stops for her. I'm like, baby, you know, I've been there. I've been in this 11th hour. She's like, I have 9 days left. I said, I've been there. I've had 7 days left. You know, when I've had to leave, like if she needs another week or two, the people that she's living there with, they're amazing. So I just said, you got to have faith, and you got to just move forward in the belief. It may not look like you're going to be able to do this right now, but you will. If you move forward in faith, you can't even fathom the miracles that are going to happen. So you don't even know this whole story because it's unfolded in a different direction. So we get off the phone. Not even 2 minutes later, she gets a text message from a friend whose roommate is looking for a roommate, and he's the most amazing roommate she's ever had, and he loves kids and he loves dogs. Because one of the things we've kind of been like, who's going to want to live with a toddler? And she actually has a pit bull. She has the most amazing pit bull I've ever met in my life. But again, who's going to want to live with that? And the other funny thing is I've never seen her going back into an apartment, because it's like, once you up level to this house situation with your own yard and all of that, like, I just felt like she was going to keep moving forward in that direction. So this guy never pans out. She's really excited about it. She can't believe it. Miracles happen all the time. He has great credit, by the way, and he has a lot of money. So she texts him, turns out he can't get out of his lease. Well, then like the next hour, she gets a message. I think she went to work. This lady that she works with, they're moving out of their house. They have a roommate. He has a child, and he wants to share the house with her. So she's meeting them today. And it's like, you just can't fathom what's going to happen when you just move forward in faith. And when you don't live there in that fearful, anxious place of, I'm powerless and there's nothing I can do about this. Wow. We've done it so many times that I love that I can speak to it. I'm not just like, blowing smoke. It's like, oh, I've done this like 4 times already, and I've seen Lisa do it, and I've seen Jess do it. Like, I've seen people do this. I know exactly how it works. So,
absolutely. That's amazing. And I can't wait to see what keeps unfolding.
And it's exactly where she wants to be. And it's a really cute house. And, hopefully she loves this guy and they really connect. Apparently he's like never home, which is a better situation than the other guy, because he was unemployed. This guy works all the time, and, they could probably maybe trade off childcare with each other. I'm like, for her to have somebody else there, for the dog and everything, I think it's just gonna be better than her kind of being on her own right now.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, and it's, go ahead.
Just perfect, like the rent situation. To live in California in a 2-bedroom apartment alone, you're going to be $1,800 to $2,000. And as a single mom, and she's not even really getting child support right now, which is something that will, I think is going to be another miracle that will happen. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, it's funny too, because this morning I was looking through my journal, and it wasn't that long ago that I was journaling, like, because it was all about you journal. What do you hate right now in your life? You just get it out. You just like vomit the hate. So I was like, I hate that I don't know if my daughter's going to get married. I hate that this whole pandemic thing is, I hate that I'm going to have to fly across the United States and put myself out there. Like, I just was, just all of this venom and terribleness was coming out on this page. And then I'm laughing reading it, because because we didn't know that the wedding was going to happen until 6 days before it happened. Right. Like you were talking about, like hers, that's 9 days out before she needs a place, 7 days out before it was 6 days before the wedding, before we got the permission from the Navy for Tony to leave the state of California to fly to Florida. So it just shows you, right? You just got to have faith, but also the surrender. I think that's what I wanted to add into that, is not only have the faith, and I guess it is surrendering into the faith, but because I finally just had to let go. Both my daughter and I were like, we got to make it work. We got to make it work. We were so busy in trying to make something happen that it was like, again, we were in the lack thereof, rather than just like, okay, we give up. It's not happening. And as soon as she did that, as soon as you do that, it's so fast. It was within like a half an hour that she got the phone call that the Navy had said, okay. Yeah. But it's really hard to just let go of.
It is, because
needing it to be a certain way.
It's true. And we've been so conditioned to believe that if it's to be, it's up to me. Like I think there's such confusion about, letting it go and letting the universe provide and being in action. And the whole thing behind it is intention and energy. If your energy behind something is of desperation and trying to make something happen and holding on really tight, you can feel the energy. Then it's time to let go. If the energy is of ease and flow, if you are seeing things flow in the direction of what you want, then you know that it's the direction to go in. But if it's hard, then it's not right.
Yeah.
That has always been our thing for a long time. If it's hard, it's not right. And that's when you start to see the flow of things happening.
Yeah. And it's a fine line, like, again, the taking the action of, because, for example, I held off on getting an airplane ticket because I had already purchased one to go to Florida, or I mean to California, and that when that wedding was canceled, you know, I'm like, well, I don't want to get into that again because I already have like 3 tickets that I've had to cancel. So I'm like, I'm not even going to do it until it's time. Well, then once we get the okay, that's when you take the action, you know? So I think there's a time and a place when to take action, but also you need to take the action in faith. So I don't know. It's a tricky.
And you got to ask yourself, how do I feel? What's the energy behind it? Like when we were working on, my Mercedes, I remember, you know, I'd gone to the dealership that one day and it was really hard. Like we were trying to make it happen. It wasn't the right car. It wasn't the color that I wanted. And it was too much money to put down. So I had to walk away. And sometimes walking away feels like I'm going to lose it, but the universe never pressures. It never pressures. When it's right, it will, like, if it's meant to be, that's definitely a saying I always say, like, if it's meant to be, it's going to work out. So walking away from that and then getting into this thing with my husband the next morning, and then just going, you know what, I'm just going to let go. If you don't want me to do this, I'm not going to do it. And then and then I let it go. And then he said, do whatever you want. And then you sent a payment. It was like,
and you called the guy and he said, I don't understand this, but all of a sudden I have the perfect car with the right color, the right, you know, all the stuff you wanted in it. So and
I was texting him back and forth going, this is the deal I want. This is, get me this deal or I'm not doing it. And he got it. And it was like flow. It was flow.
It was total
flow.
Go.
I'm not trying to make this happen anymore. If it's hard, it's not worth it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an energy thing. It's paying attention to the energy and how is this making me feel? Because if you're feeling anxious, desperate, you know, freaking out about things, then it's not right.
Yeah. So true. Right. Oh my God. And it reminds me of this place where I live right now, which I absolutely love. And you guys have seen it, but the same type of thing. Cause I had moved up Pukalani and I just knew it wasn't right away, but I needed to be there. I mean, there was definitely
place needed to like come to fruition. It wasn't
exactly. Right? Exactly. And then when I finally made the decision that I was going to move, I started looking at things and I'm like, oh no. But then this just, you know, I actually found it when I was in California in December.
Yep.
And it turned out that my old rental property guy, it was his. I'm like, this is just crazy, because he knew me. So he knew I was a good tenant. So he definitely, you know, got me.
Well, and that's how things work, you know?
Yeah.
So my third daughter, so my fourth daughter just got her driver's license.
Woohoo!
Right. Woo! Crazy 28 years driving kids around. So once that happened, now we have 3 cars and 4 people. So we've been kind of like trying to figure out what we were going to do about that, and not really doing anything about it, but knowing that we were going to have to do something. So then my third daughter, she's 18. She just got a credit card. She was going to try to get a loan, which they are really not doing right now. So we tried a couple of things to see if we could get her a loan, and the banks are being really, really strict right now with just giving money away. So we kind of stepped away from it, and I had to go pick up shakes at my nutritionist's house. And I get there, and all of a sudden I look and I see, oh, there's a Jeep there and they're selling it. And Emma has wanted a Jeep for 5 years. Like ever since she got her license, maybe even before that, she's wanted a Jeep, a white Jeep. So I'm like, oh my God, you guys are selling that. So she's like, yeah. And so the dad comes over and he starts talking to me, her father-in-law, and he's like, you know, this thing is pristine. It's like in the nicest shape. And he's giving me all the stuff about it. So I'm like, holy crap. So she got the Jeep. Like she manifested the whole thing. And now she's driving around in this Jeep, and she is like living her dream. She told me the other day, she's like driving down the highway with the PCH on her right-hand side with her, you know, the top off, the sun shining. And she said she was like she's never been that happy in her whole life.
Oh my God.
And I was like, how freaking, so I just look at this Jeep and I go, this is evidence. Like Emma has not, she's not done shit for this Jeep, like other than having that vision and wanting it and desiring it and trusting. That's what I kept saying to her. I'm like, just trust, baby, just trust. And she tried
Wow.
all these other things to get a loan through a truck, to get a truck. And like, and then to have a friend come, it's like, you see these miracles happen and you go, yep. Like you just know, you just know these things. And they held it for her for like 3 weeks. They were like,
Wow.
we're gonna just take it off of Facebook because you guys are our friends. And
Oh my God, that is so good. I was just looking for us on the page to try to see if anybody's asking any questions or saying hello, but I can't find it. So hopefully it's actually there. But if not,
right.
you can
Well,
always watch it on YouTube. I love that story so much. And I feel like
I
that's
mean,
how it is with my Lexus
yes.
convertible. Do you see
People are
us?
like, yeah, people are liking. Yeah.
Okay. If
We're good.
anybody has any questions.
Any comments?
Yeah, that was like when I got my Lexus convertible, and I just knew, like, that was back when I was working with this coach, and it was kind of like, well, what is it that you really want? And I'm like, I want a white Lexus convertible with, the leather interior, the whole 9 yards. And it just, all these things just kept happening that were keeping me from it. And I finally, it's like, I just went to a dealer, and
Well, you kind of have to, and you kind of have to follow the energy. It's like
yeah,
sometimes, like I remember before the whole Mercedes thing happened, I was listening to Fred Dodson in the Parallel Universe of Self, and he's like, you have to stop switching your cars. And that's totally what I was
yes.
doing, because I kept not having the belief that I could afford that, that it was
Mm-hmm.
right for me, or that I deserved it, or whatever was going on. So it was shifting into that, oh yeah, I can totally do that.
Yeah,
Having that belief, the faith, and the worthiness, like having that, connecting with that worthiness, that's a huge piece of this.
for
And it's not
sure.
just about materialism or cars or, houses or different things. It's about the way you feel about yourself and
Yeah, that's huge.
what you truly believe you deserve. And most of us have not grown up in environments where people tell us that we really deserve anything else but to work hard.
Yeah, that's right. Work hard and make sure everybody else around you is happy, and
Happy, yes,
you come in
everybody else.
last. You
Oh,
don't.
that's definitely the way I grew up.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where reading this book, Not Nice, check it out. It has changed my life. I mean, there's a line in there that says, you are not responsible for how other people feel,
It's very freeing.
and I'm like, I mean, and I know it sounds like such a basic sentence, and I know intellectually that, yes, I understand I'm not responsible for what people feel around me, but that is not the way. I mean, that subconscious programming that I was brought up with. And again, my parents did the best they could. I did the best I could. I taught my kids the same thing. I'm getting them each a copy of this book and saying, read it and reparent yourself, because I want you to know this in your 20s rather than when you're in your 50s.
Well,
And
and it's that, the first thing I think when you say it is like, that sounds cold. Like, it sounds cold to be that,
yeah,
that in alignment with your own well-being.
yeah,
That you're not, because when you're trying to please everybody else, you're ignoring your own well-being. So we've been taught that that's selfish, and that
right.
selfish is bad.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, again, this is not about like, okay, you're not nice, so you're going to be a jerk, or you're going to be a bitch, or you're going to be, a bastard to everybody around you. No, it's just standing in your own power and like, what do I want? Or if somebody is going on, this is a great little thing here. And this happens to me all the time. People want to come up and tell me their story, and they just start unloading. And because I'm a good listener, in the past,
Dumping.
in the past, I just sit there, and no matter what I need to do, if I need to go somewhere, if my dog is like, panting and needs water, I'm just going to sit there and let this, because I'm nice. I don't want to upset them. I don't want to be mean.
Yeah.
So I let them dump, and then I leave and I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm late. My dog is like practically passed out because he hasn't had his water or whatever. But now this book has given me permission to, as soon as I feel like, yeah, I'm done, I can just say, excuse me, I so appreciate you sharing your story, but I need to go right now. Bye.
Right.
And that's it. You don't need to give an excuse. You don't need to, you are free to interrupt a conversation or end it or leave if that is what you choose to do. We are not beholden to people that come up and talk to us.
It's funny that we think that we owe people things. Like we
I
think,
know.
we think that relationships are all about, just giving, endlessly giving, and a lot of times not receiving. I
Right.
mean, I don't know how many people I dump on. It's very minimal. In fact, I just realized recently, after people were dumping on me, that I often dump on my husband. So I've stopped doing that because it's just like, why do I do that to him? Why do I call him and tell him all my problems? Like, he doesn't want to hear that, because we think like, oh, if I dump on this person, they're going to support me and help me carry this. But the
Right.
truth is, we're just activating more of that.
Well,
That
that's
energy.
where the journaling, you jump it into the journal. Just, I hate this. I don't like that. I did it. And you just get it out of your body, because I think we've talked about this, about how, as much as I love Abraham Hicks and it's all about
Yeah.
being in the vibration and not going to those dark places. But when you have that energy bubbling up, it needs to come out. Otherwise you're pushing it or suppressing it or vibrating at that level, unbeknownst to you, but the universe hears it. So you got to get it out of your body. And by writing it out, you let it out. And it's a really quick, easy fix to just let that energy go rather than, deny it.
It's also, yes, it's getting very honest with yourself and no longer denying your feelings or telling yourself, I shouldn't feel this way.
Right.
Because I think we do that a lot. It's like, well, my life is really great, so I shouldn't feel sad about this, or I shouldn't be mad about this, or, I shouldn't. And when we do that, it's like, we try to bypass our true feelings, which is really it's our state. It's what's going on underneath. So I think it's getting really truthful about every subject in your life. I know we talked about this, I think last time, just getting super truthful. Like, how do I really feel about this? Because if things are not going the way you want them to in your life, it's because you feel a certain way, believe a certain way, and activate a certain energy in each one of those subjects. So you have to shift it, or else.
Well, and you need to be aware of it. Otherwise, subconsciously, it's running your show without you even knowing it. So that's where the honesty with yourself is paramount.
And that's where meditation comes in. Because if you don't go within and start asking these questions and really digging underneath, and we do frequency tuning for anybody who's interested. We're doing that totally donation-based right now. I don't know if we're going to keep doing it donation-based, but it feels good right now to do that, just for people to put the value on what they receive from it. Because we feel really passionate about this work and what it's done for our own lives, just being able to tune the frequency, let go, get honest, let go, and then just kind of have our higher perspectives to really bring it home and set those intentions, release that energy, and then set those intentions. It's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
We did a thing with a woman. If you want to listen on YouTube, she was guest number 1. And then we did a recap with her, like a completely different person 30 days later. And the cool thing about these is you get the recording, so you can listen for 30 days around our meditation and the release work. So it continues over those 30 days. But she sent us a message today, and she said that, she's had a health setback because she went back to work, and, the work is connected to her symptoms, and she knows that, and she's not happy at her job. And the biggest thing that came up for me with her was that she is activating a certain frequency with her job. So people get this idea, I hate my job, I have to quit. So then it becomes, if I quit my job, then I'm going to be poor, right? Like, so you've got this like either or situation, like you can't have both. So my intention with her and the work I want to do with her is about activating a different frequency within the work. So it's finding appreciation, because if you take yourself with you wherever you go. So if you hate where you live and you go somewhere else, you're going to take that energy with you, and you're going to activate the same thing in this new place. So you have to shift the energy of who you are in order to create something new. And I totally believe she can do it in the job she's in right now, because it's too big of a leap, especially if you have a big job, a big full-time job, and it pays you really well. It's too big of a leap to say, I'm going to quit that and do something else. You have to start to change the energy around it to actually attract something else. And then I think she will, What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's super important to understand, as you said, wherever you go, there you are. So if you're not happy where you're living and you think, oh, I just need to move and that'll be better, or even getting out of a relationship, just because you're getting out of a relationship doesn't mean that you're not going to attract that exact same relationship with
Don't do
just
any work.
somebody else.
You're going to do the same thing with somebody else if you don't do the work, the inner work.
Exactly. So, which again, as I was reading through, I'm a terrible journaler. I just randomly, I have about 15 journals. I randomly grab one and I just write in it. So there's no.
A good journaler. A terrible journaler is somebody who doesn't really journal like me.
Okay.
Do it like once and then like a couple weeks later I'll do it again.
Well, it maybe is mine is not chronological, but interestingly and perfectly, I was reading back not only in my I hate thing, but just a few pages before that was about a relationship I had that I had broken up with. And I was like, I am not going to deal with that. And yet I was feeling guilty that I broke up with him and all that stuff, which again is kind of similar to what some things I'm feeling right now. And yet I went back to him and it ended up being just a disaster, but it was, like 6-8 months later that we broke up the second time, which I normally never do. I'm not one of those people that breaks up and goes back. And, this was the first time that happened, but I was just astonished at what I was reading because it's a lot of similar feelings that I'm having right now. And I'm like, thank you, universe, for letting me read this little section.
Me find this and see where I'm at and how far I've moved from that and the work that I still have left to do.
Exactly. So it's just so funny. So anyway, my point is, wherever you go, there you are. So it's all about doing the internal work. It's all about just, upping your game and tuning in, like going to those, going in, you've got everything you need inside of you. And, but you got to do the work, it's not, if you want to just float through life and not do the work. I mean, a lot of people do that. I mean, I love my ex-husband, but he doesn't want to do any work. He just wants to, play golf and watch TV, and that's great and good for him. And he's having a wonderful life. He's not on this search like I am. Right. And that's, ultimately
it's whether you're on the spiritual path. I don't believe everyone is on the spiritual
no
life,
but if you're listening to us, you are on the spiritual path. That's what I was going to say. You wouldn't be listening to us.
Probably is annoying as hell. Why are you listening to us?
Yeah. If you're not on a spiritual path and you're listening to us, go find your joy somewhere else. If this isn't bringing you joy, if we're not bringing you joy, time to go look for someone else to do that for you.
Amen. We don't take anything personally. I mean, at least most of the time. Anyway.
Most of the time. Yeah.
We're still human, right?
We are. Well, and that's it. We're the real ones. That's why we call ourselves the real ones. We're not here to be your guru. We're not here. We don't have, I was going to say we don't have the answers. We do have the answers because we're tapped in and we're able to connect, but so do you. You have the answers. And sometimes we're here just to help you look beneath.
That's our goal. Yeah. Our goal is not really to become, people's answers necessarily.
No.
It's about opening up your mind to different ways of thinking. It's about, giving you information that we found that has been so helpful. And even in the frequency tuning, there's a lot of questions that we're asking really to just help clarify for you, for the person, the guest who's there. And then when it comes down to moving forward, it's just so funny because like when you do this work, people just always come back to you and have questions because we are sort of psychic. I mean, I always say I'm sort of psychic.
Yeah, I call myself the reluctant psychic. Like
it seems to get a little more intense as I'm getting, as I'm growing older. Yeah, it's definitely a little more intense. Like I'm seeing things, I'm hearing things, but that doesn't mean that we're going to give you the, it's like when you're dealing with psychic energy, I think there's a level of different attitudes. It's like if somebody because I've worked with psychics, and if somebody tells me something and I don't necessarily agree with it or want it in my experience, I can shift it. That's the thing about belief systems and faith and what we buy into. So when we tell people things, they buy into this belief system, and we're able to shape a picture around what they want and give them that belief system so that they activate it and create from it. So it's psychic, but it's also like it's working in people's energy fields about what they want and getting them to truly focus on it so that they tune into that station.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I
like you
love
said,
it.
but if they don't like it, they can shift it. I mean, that's why I always, when I did readings, when I was much more consistent, I mean, I really don't do readings now except what we're doing,
Yep.
which is the donation base. And if you're interested, email us at goldynandlisa@gmail.com, and it's GOLDYNANDLISA. But anyway, when I did do them, I was like, this is what's coming through in this moment. The minute you walk out of my house or out of this store or wherever I was doing the readings, you know, if you decide, if you walk out and you were going to go right and you go left, I mean, everything can shift. It's, you know, it's totally in your control. And that's what, you know, it's the free will aspect.
Absolutely.
And yet I have to say, I just want to admit this because maybe if I let it out, it'll just go away.
Give it
But
to us.
I had a reading done. It was some sort of, it was astrological
Okay.
reading back in 2015, right before I moved here. No, sorry, 2017, right before I moved to Maui.
Okay.
And I knew I was getting divorced, and I knew, you know, so I had all these questions. And so anyway, he said that I will meet the one in like the year 2025 or something like that, or 28 or something. And meanwhile, that's been haunting me. Okay. I don't appreciate being told I'm going to meet the one in freaking like 8 years. That is not helpful.
Just get rid of that, okay?
And I just want to like go into my brain and just like take a
Remove
scoop,
that.
like a melon baller, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why we have to be really careful about, you know, what we say and
Yeah.
because anything can happen at any moment.
Yes.
You know, it's
But just talk me down from this, so I don't need to hold on to that, right? Meanwhile,
No.
I searched those my journals trying to find exactly what date he said, because I'm like, why? And
I feel like you're closer than you've ever been because your
yeah.
last relationship had such, like, if you go back to like the beginning of your last relationship, it had I have the chills.
Oh
It
my
had
God. I know.
element of everything you were looking for.
Everything.
The fact that you tuned into that, like,
Yeah.
it's almost like every time you think of that relationship, that's where you should go, because that's where it's at. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it showed you that that is completely possible. Now, the fact that it didn't end up that way could cause you to go into these low belief systems and go,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's too good to be true, right? Which I think there was an element of you in the beginning of that relationship.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Right? So it
Mm-hmm.
showed you, right? So now it's just cleaning that up. So I feel like you're closer than you've ever been before.
Yeah.
And it's like the coolest thing. And I love doing this with you, is like, we have no idea what's going to happen. And I get to vicariously live through you.
That's right.
And you're in a relationship with me where I've got this incredible relationship.
Well, totally. You guys have always been,
yeah.
You guys have always been my light in the darkness whenever I'm like, oh my God.
Like, it's totally possible. And it doesn't even matter that we've been together this long. It's a matter of like the richness and the activation and just like what we give and receive from one another.
Exactly.
That I think is proof to everyone that a lifetime of a soulmate and this incredible love exists. And that's what I love about our relationship, is that we're able to show people that it's not only is it possible, but if we're in your experience, you're closer than you've ever been.
Yeah.
That's just,
I
always
love that.
feel that way, especially if if you have people around you that are showing you that it's possible. I was listening to a Fred Dodson right before I got on, and he was saying that if you have just been diagnosed with some kind of illness, find someone that succeeded. Find someone who healed.
I love it.
And activate their story, because they're the ones that are showing you that it's possible.
Oh my God. That is so cool. I know, I saw one of my Facebook friends just got diagnosed with ALS, and she's young, young. And I just said, have you read Anita Morajani's book, Dying to Be Me? Because that's right. I've got chills. Oh my God. I've got chills.
Yeah.
But that's it. What Fred just said, go and find somebody who succeeded. And tune into that frequency. And the same thing, what do they say, that like your average or your income is the average of the 5 people that you hang out with, or your relationship is based on, the people that are around you, because that's the vibration that you're in. So it's a really great way to kind of see where you're at. So yeah, if you don't like the company you're keeping, if you're not in joy with the company that you're keeping, time to go up level.
And I totally just did that. The friends that I have now, they're all in like super wonderful, happy marriages. And, you know, they're all very abundant and they're living joyful lives, and none of them are living in fear. So the group I was with before, not so much. So
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. The transformation that I've seen in your friendship group has been amazing. And of course, because you thought you wanted friends. And so the first group came and you're like, oh yeah, friends. And then you're just like, oh wait, this isn't, oh wait. And this is paralleling my relationship.
yes,
I just saw that.
yes.
Oh my God, because you thought those were your new BFFs and then oops, they weren't. And then boom.
So I had to let go. Let go, and I had to like be alone for a little while and be okay with that.
Exactly.
And, you know,
and then out of COVID arose this amazing new group of friends that you have.
It's like, and these people, they feel like family. Like
yeah, they're so awesome. I feel like I know them because I hear about them and they're so cool. I can't wait to meet them when I come visit.
Yeah, it's surprising. It really is, because we're all kind of different, but it just, I don't know, it works. We have a good time together. So
That's
it's
awesome.
good.
Well, listen, I got to wrap it up because I got to take my
go.
puppy dog to go get a haircut today.
All right. Well,
so,
we love you all, and I guess we're done. Yeah.
Well, we're done here on Facebook. I'm going to pop off of Facebook. We're going to pull quick cards over at YouTube. If you haven't joined us over there, be sure to do so, and also subscribe and hit the little bell button so you can get notified when we put something up there new.
Yeah, and we'll send you stuff. We do freebies.
Awesome. All right. Bye, Facebook.
All right, love ya.
Okay, let's quickly pull some cards.
Right, so what are we pulling this about?
That was so good.
That was good.
I think we should pull it on kind of what we were talking about up-leveling whatever your situation, whether it's where you live, your friends, if it's your job. Like, what do you need to do within yourself to activate this higher level of living? I love it. So what's the first? What's our blockage card? Why is this happening to us? Ooh, I got security. What'd you get? Nurture. Well, they're both kind of similar. And this is the blockage. Okay. What I'm getting for security is that it's more fearful. You know what you know. You don't know what you don't know, right? So the security of knowing, even if your relationship sucks, at least you know how bad it sucks. How bad it sucks, and you're not alone. You don't have to be alone, right? Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I'm dealing with right now, is being alone, and it's so painful. And so like, I just want to have somebody be here with me and hang out, and it's hard. So I get it, but it's the security that keeps you. So in that, you're not really nurturing yourself, because you're not in that nurture phase of trusting and believing and knowing that no matter what happens, we're always going to be nurtured. Like our dreams are always going to be nurtured. We're always going to be in a state of being supported. That's right. The security comes when you step forward in faith. Absolutely. I love it. So the action card to really step into, again, whether it's your better, higher level relationship or a better job, house, car. Maybe you're sitting in unemployment right now, and you're scared and you don't really know what the next step is. Trust and align. That's so perfect. Oh my God, of course. Well, this is exactly what we were saying. You got to trust. You've got to trust and align. Aligning is about knowing, what is the next step of what I really want to do? Because I think what happens, and I think even with our YouTube first guest, it's like, well, this is what I know how to do, and this is what I get paid for. But it's like, what have you always wanted to do? And right. Yes. That even a little bit to tell the universe, yes, I'm ready for something new. Exactly. And like in a relationship or in a house or anything like that too, it's about aligning with, what do you really want? What you have and it's not working, and that's not what you want. So what is it that you want? And focus on that. I just got this little thing called, how they're always like, look for the red flags and whatever. This is the green flags, and it's all about, I just got to look it up really quick, because this is now, whenever I think of my old relationship, I immediately shift into like, nope, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about what the green flags are in my current relationship, act as if, right? Supports your personal growth, practices self-care, self-reflective, long-standing friendships. They have to have long-standing friendships. They have to be empathetic, vulnerable, spiritual, self-sufficient, healthy hobbies, communicates openly, honors boundaries.
Green flags.
Amazing. So you want the green flags. Align with the green flags. Don't say, I don't want this.
Yes.
I don't want that. No, align with what you want and trust.
And don't settle. That was the other thing with my daughter, is she did find a place and they would take her credit, but it wasn't ringing her bells. And I'm like, sweetie, you don't have to settle.
Exactly.
You don't have to settle. We don't have to settle.
That's what happened when I got this place too. I found a place and I was not happy about it. And I'm like, I guess this is what it is. And I'm like, nope, don't settle. And the outcome. Playful clarity. I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, being in play is probably one of the best things we could do right now, and finding that joy.
Absolutely. And when you're in alignment, when you trust the alignment, then you do get to have that playfulness. You get to have the play. What was
like lighten up. Life is not so freaking serious. Like everything doesn't have to be this like catastrophic event. Even shifting employment, shifting homes. Like we take everything so seriously. And if we just lighten up and go, you know what? Everything always works out for me.
That's right.
It does.
It does. It always does. No matter what, it always works out. And there is no good or bad. It was just a different experience. So
amen.
It's fun. Awesome.
All right. We love you guys.
Another great show. We love you so much. Be sure to sign up. If you do subscribe, send us an email and we will send you a free Abundance is our, what is it? Birthright. Yes. Abundance is our birthright clearing, which has been phenomenal. We've gotten great reviews on that.
Yeah. We love you guys.
All right. Love you. Bye.